Alrighty, they are ready to go now, and the grid will be Giancarlo and Yuho on the front row, Avery Walker and Harry on the second row, Adam Barker and Nick Sorensen on the third row, Maximilian Gunther and Scott Nalawi on the fourth row, Jason Wahlberg and newcomer Neil Obrador rounding out the top 10, Simon Zierk and Gregorio Caridi 11th and 12th. Chris Perry and Rudolph Gunther 13th and 14th, Mike Marshall 15th, James Crook 16th, Mike Doling 17th, Brian LaRue is 18th, 19th is Ronnie, who will not be in the field, he dropped out. That'll move Martin Johnson up to 20th, Eric McCready in 21st, Dylan Steinbach 22nd, Thomas Smith is 23rd, and Matthew Allen, if he grids, is in 24th.
Make sure you guys full fuel.
One moment. All right, there we go. A little bit of a glitch there. Forgot to disable sound. All right. The question being, David, hey, good morning, buddy. The car that's going to be the fastest today, you know, there's a lot of Lamborghinis in the field, but the BMWs, I think, will be dominant. A lot of these guys did the endurance race here in the Beamer. Well, 5 of them did the endurance race here in the Beamer, and it could be a deciding factor here today. With those guys all having practice or having the 10 hours of Suzuka in the BMW, that could give some of these drivers a little bit of an advantage. And there was a nice little joke in pre-race. Since it's Giancarlo's birthday, there was discussion about giving him a 1-second penalty at the start of the race for every year old he is, which I believe there's 25, so he would have gotten a 25-second penalty. Obviously, Giancarlo not happy with that, and it's not happening. The Porsche pace car will pull onto pit road, and these guys will go racing 1 hour around Suzuka. And you know, some of these guys that competed for the 10 hours, they're going to be like this is a nap almost. Pace car is in. And they're down and away. Green flag in the air here at Suzuka. They're already starting to spread out and set up for turn number 1. And this could be where things go really well for some and really awry for others. A lot of drivers talking about how turn 1, lap 1 would be chaotic, but so far, so good. Now they have to come up through the S's, though. And so far, everybody gets through cleanly. If they stay packed up, though, the question's really going to be when they get to the chicane. Giancarlo and Yuho already pulling away just a little bit. David, I have to ask, I answer you every week, so what car do you think will be the dominant car this week? When you take, first you got to take Giancarlo and Yuho out of the equation. Looks like Martin Johnson is the first to have an issue. And, oh, looks like he got a little bit of a tap, managed to drift it, almost completely saves the car. Giancarlo and Yuho getting to the far end of the track, now back onto the high-speed straight. And worth noting, Adam Barker had a great run last week. Got himself back into the top 10 in points. He's actually tied for 9th place right now. Started in 5th place. Looking like he might have a good run here. He is one of the drivers that did the 10 hours of Suzuka. As they come down through the chicane, watching through the field, it looks like everybody is playing it pretty safe here early on. Everybody makes it through the first lap with only minimal carnage, but down into turn one, Yuho is back all over the back bumper of Giancarlo. Worth noting, those two drivers have made every single race this season, like a lot of drivers have made every single race. But Yuho has only been in one other car this season. He was in the BMW for the second race of the season. Giancarlo has stuck with the Lambo the whole season long, and it's obviously been benefiting him as he continues to be the dominating factor here. Can Yuho in the Porsche, which everybody said, oh, Yuho had a little problem coming through the corner there, got a little too much of the apron, manages to hold on to it. Everybody said the Porsche, like I mentioned in pre-race, the Porsche actively tries to kill you all the time, but in this particular track, it's really trying to kill you. Brian LaRue has gone off track. Let's back it up just a little bit. We didn't catch his initial off. The lone McLaren this week. And this is only the second week we've seen him. McLaren looks like he just gets a little too wide through there, catches a little bit of the grass, and spins it out. This is only the second week we have seen the McLaren in action in this league, but last week it finished in second with Harry at the wheel. Could we see Brian come back through this field while they're all packed up? He still has the opportunity. David, you might be right about that. There is quite a, it's a lot more balanced than we've seen. Nick Sorensen has had an issue. It looks like he has crashed. Here comes Nick in the BMW. Oh, almost gets into the back. I believe that was Adam Barker. Manages to stay out of the way. And keeps it off track. Maximilian Gunther has now had an incident. And there you go. Oh, Adam Barker went wide and trying to hold the brakes, but he gets into the side of Max and sends him over. Max ended up having to tow to pit road. Let's take a quick look at Adam's off track that started that incident. Did not get a good look at that. Let's try and take a look at that again. It looked like Adam had a series of problems down there through the first turn, and obviously a little bit of a drift on there. Adam had a really good run, a really good start to this race, had a really good 10-hour race yesterday, but obviously struggling here early on. Adam has dropped back to 14th place now, but we'll see if we can make a comeback here today. And don't forget, it is Giancarlo's birthday today, folks, so make sure you drop into the chat and say happy birthday. Dylan Steinbach has crashed, and a lot of off tracks in the last few seconds, so let's try and get a look at some of these. There is McCready going wide, and it looks like Dylan just went wide and spun around. And it looks like McCready, LaRue, and let's see, Martin Johnson had an off as well. Here comes, oh, it looks like Brian LaRue might have caught a piece of him there, and both of them into the tire barrier. Worth noting, in qualifying, Giancarlo's qualifying lap was 0.7 of a second faster than Yuho was, and obviously faster than everybody. Everybody getting themselves sorted out. Giancarlo and Yuho have 1 and 2. Harry up to third now. Avery Walker back into fourth. Scott Malawi is in fifth. Newcomer Neil Obrador currently running in sixth after starting 10th. Simon Zierk up to seventh now. Simon's been having some great runs lately and definitely coming on strong. He's up 4 spots already as well. Jason Wahlberg now up to 8th. Gregorio Caridi up to 9th now, and Chris Perry in 10th. Looking to see the biggest mover so far is Thomas Smith in the lone Mercedes in the field. He started back in 23rd. He is up to 17th. McCready in pre-race, while guys were practicing, McCready said he was intentionally sandbagging to make sure that he did not have any issues early in the running. Nobody believed him, but you know what? He qualified 21st and he's up to 16th, so maybe. Giancarlo is up front. Maximilian is back out on track. Nobody else. Dylan and Brian LaRue did not come to pit road. They have not come in for repairs. Max is actually being scored at the tail end of the lead lap. So even with the tow, he is actually pulled off, getting off pit road pretty quickly and not losing a full lap yet. However, there you see is the leader. Max is not terribly far ahead, so lap traffic could become an issue, but Max has been pretty fast here recently. We'll see if he can pull away. Good question. Let's check out a couple of the drivers who have been involved in incidents recently. Adam Barker does not seem to have anything of significance. Looks like he's got a little damage to the left front of the splitter. Brian LaRue is off track. Max is back out and looks like he is fully repaired. Of course, he kind of had to be. He was upside down. Dylan's got some damage to the left front of the splitter, but not terribly bad. Harry and Avery, both in Audis, are now third and fourth place. They qualified in third and fourth as well. Harry in fourth, Avery in third. They've just swapped positions. Clayton Allen did not qualify. He is in the Audi back in... Oh, we've got... Was that Yuho? Let's take a look. That might have been Mike Marshall. That was Mike Marshall. Similar paint schemes. It looked like Yuho when I saw him in the background. Gets into turn one, spins. Adam Barker managing to just barely avoid that. Martin Johnson is on pit road now. A lot of off tracks here early. Looks like Jason Wahlberg had one as well. Just a little too much speed through that section. Goes wide through the dirt. A couple of guys managed to get by, but he merges safely. And Gregorio Caridi just involved in an incident. Oh, Gregorio just losing the back end. Seeing a lot of that. I know these guys are dialing a lot of rear brake into these cars today and trying to make sure that the car will rotate even under braking. Giancarlo still in the lead. Yuho managing to hang with him so far. Harry and Avery third and fourth, losing a little bit of ground to the 2 leaders. They're now almost 3 seconds behind. Scott Nalawi in fifth. And Neil Obrador in sixth, both in the Lambo. So 3 of the 5 Lambos in the top 5. And a 4th one in 10th place. Jason Wahlberg in 10th right now. Then James Crook in 12th and Gregorio Caridi back in 15th. Down into the far part of the track as they come through this section, building up speed for that long run down the long straightaway into that high speed left-hand corner. A couple of drivers mentioned struggling there with consistency. So you could come into that turn exactly the same 5 times in a row, but you might only get it right 4 of those times, and then you'll have a problem on the 5th. Definitely a tricky part of the track as you carry as much speed as you can up until the chicane, where you're kind of having to get on the brakes really hard and set yourself up for the run down the front straightaway. Mike Marshall involved in an accident. And I do believe that, no, different spot, same type thing, just loses the back end. That is that engine over the rear tires in the Porsche does cause a few problems. Right now, one of the battles on track is 3rd and 4th. Looking back, 5th and 6th are starting to spread out a little bit. Simon Zierk back there in 7th. Chris Perry in 8th is losing a little bit of ground. He's now 3 seconds back. Rudolph Gunther in 9th, but Jason Wahlberg and Adam Barker right there together. Adam had the issue earlier. He is already making his way back up. And McCready has had an accident. And it is in turn 1. Down into turn 1, clips the rumble strip and just loses the back end. Another Porsche struggling here. Right behind Adam is also James Crook and Mike Dulling. In fact, once we get back to the start-finish line, what do you say we take a ride along with James Crook? He might have the best seat in the house right now with that 3-car battle going on right in front of him. As he comes down the long straightaway, building up momentum into that chicane. Mike Dulling right there behind him. And let's dial up his in-car camera as he comes out of the chicane and builds up speed down the front straightaway. Coming down, there is the start-finish line, building as much speed as possible down into turn 1. Hard on the brakes, downshifting. Getting that late apex to get set up to come up through the S's. Rolls out of the throttle, little dab of brake there. Little wide through that section. Oh! Mike Dulling slips past. coming up off the S's and then down toward the two right-handers and then the horseshoe. This is a spot we've seen several cars just overdrive through here, go off into that dirt. Down through the tight left-hand horseshoe and then back to the far end of the track. Right-hander, then down to the two left-handers and the long straightaway towards the chicane. Back onto the long straightaway, trying to get as much momentum up off the turn as possible, staying in the slipstream of Mike Dolling, trying to get some help from the draft. Down through the tight left-hand turn. Hard onto the brakes for the chicane. Oh, and Simon Zierk is off right in front of him. Coming through the final turn and back to the start-finish line. And let's take a look at what has happened here, because Clayton Allen and Matthew Allen both have had an incident. Here comes Clayton in one of the Audis, just gets too deep and too hard on the brakes, goes around. Let's see what happened to Matthew Allen. Gets on the gas a little bit too hard, a little bit too soon, and then, as we saw, Simon Zierk down towards the chicane, clips too much of the grass. Oh, hard hit into the outside wall. And he actually is going to have to limp that car. It looks like he limped it to pit road. Looks like he took the escape road there through the chicane down to the pit road. And James Crook is off track. Let's see what happened to him. Same place we talked about just a few moments ago. A bad tendency to overdrive there. Goes off the track through the dirt and into the tire barriers. And a hard hit. Thankfully, he stopped. He saw the other cars coming. That could have been disastrous. I have to agree with you, David. Yuho managing to stay right on Giancarlo's back bumper. As much trouble as we saw out of the Porsches last week, I was surprised to see so many here on this tricky track where a lot of drivers know that the Porsche, this track does not favor the Porsche. It has the advantage through the chicane because it is so nimble, but a lot of these high-speed turns is not where the is not the strong point for the Porsche. Yet Yuho is staying right in Giancarlo's slipstream all the way around the track. And they have pulled away of third place Harry and fourth place Avery. They are now 7 seconds ahead. The two leaders have just checked out. Harry and Avery are now almost 3 seconds ahead of fifth place Neil Obrador. Scott Nalawi back in sixth, another 2.9 seconds back. Chris Perry in seventh, fairly close, 1.5 seconds. Adam Barker now up to 8th place. He is back on the move. Despite the early off, he is making that car work today. And like we mentioned, last week it seemed like he had an incident early, but he recovered really, really well. And he might have shaken off the bad luck coming into this week. I did ask him about it briefly in the pre-race, asked him if he thought he had shaken off all the bad luck from earlier this season. He said, You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not going to say. Just going to keep my fingers crossed. Lamborghini obviously has the power advantage on the straightaway. Yuho seems to be handling the S's in the Porsche really quite well here today. For a car that is not the most stable on the high-speed turns. The two Audis, though, nose to tail so far the whole race, have both remained really well planted and continuing to just not able to keep with the leaders right now, but they are running their own race and extremely consistent. "37 minutes left in the race, and pit strategy will come into play here. We've only seen tire changes a couple of times this season. Do not expect them this track not excessively hard on the tires, so don't expect to see any tire changes here. But I would expect to see a few more guys try and pull something like Giancarlo does, stretching the fuel as long as possible, taking as little as possible for as short of a pit stop as possible as Avery goes around. And Dylan Steinbach also had an incident. As he comes up through the S's just a little bit, got to the top of the S's, got a little too much of the rumble strip. Barely gets out of the way. That was a very close call. Wow, a bunch of close calls here today. There was a comment during pre-race where they were talking about, because of the size of the field here today, they said, how many is this league set up for every race? And they said 60. So the day could come when we see 60 drivers out here, and on a track as tight as this one, that could get very interesting very, very quickly. Giancarlo he has actually started to pull away just a little bit from Yuho. 1.1, 1.2 seconds. Harry now in third. Neil Obrador has slipped by. He is up to fourth now. Scott Nalawi now up to fifth. Avery Walker drifted back to seventh as Adam Barker really sent it through there. Let's take a look at that. Adam went off track there briefly. He was really sending it through that section of track. Clips the apron there. Down through the second turn, way outside. Great save, though. Had the left sides in the dirt. Managed to keep the car going the right way and carry a lot of momentum. Although, worth noting, Adam does not have a Hello Kitty paint scheme today. Have to talk to Adam about that. I know he's got a Hello Kitty paint scheme on some of the cars, but not all. That is definitely true, David. One off track here could be the end of the day. Mike Marshall has come to pit road. Looks like he has completed his only pit stop. And you are absolutely right. If you get one tire off the track here, it could spell disaster. We've seen a lot of close calls and a lot of great saves, but a lot of guys just not having the same luck out there. They catch a single tire and they go around, especially with the rumble strips here being the way they are and the suspension on these cars being so tight that and being so hard that not a lot of give in the suspension to keep the car faster through the corners. Yuho, while losing a little bit of ground, has managed to stay within about a second and a half. Mike Marshall, after having completed pit stops there, right in front of third place Harry. Neil Obrador in fourth. Looking forward to seeing how the remainder of the season goes for Neil, one of the newcomers in the league. Obviously quite fast here. And oh, Mike Marshall is off track. Comes down through. It looks like he might have pulled off the track intentionally. Not sure what happened with Mike, but it does look like that was an intentional pull off the track move. Scott Nalawi in fifth place. Biggest mover so far is still Clayton Allen, who has made his way That was Mike Marshall stop back there on the side of the track. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but Adam Barker is the first of the top 10 to hit pit road. As I was saying, Clayton Allen, who started in 25th, is now up to 14th. He is the biggest mover so far. Right behind him, Thomas Smith started 23rd, up to 15th. Mike Dolling, who started in 17th, is now up to 9th. And Chris Perry, who started 13th, is now up to 6th. Nope, no Hello Kitty on the BMW today. We're going to have a chit-chat with him about it. I know it's on the Porsche. And it seems like it's on another one of the cars, but not on the Beamer. James Crook is on pit road. Adam Barker has left pit road, and because of the length of the laps here, almost 2 minutes, 1:59.47 for Giancarlo. Because of the length of the laps here, you don't actually lose a lap. You're way back on the track, but Adam was only on pit road for about 50 seconds, got 20 seconds worth of fuel. Simon Zierk has been to pit road. He went earlier, though. After his incident, that would explain his shortened pit stop. So now we are at the halfway point, and pit strategy becomes the big question here. Giancarlo has managed to, every race this season, either extend his lead or make up ground on pit road. There was a couple of races, Road Atlanta being one, where he ended up way back and made up a ton of ground on pit road. And every race he has been leading at the pit stops, he's made up several, or advanced his lead by several seconds. Yuho now 2.5 seconds back. Harry almost 8 seconds back. Neil Obrador currently running in 4th. Scott Nalawi in 5th. Not a lot of close battles in the top 10. McCready has just crashed. And another Porsche gets bit. Got too much of the rumble strip, as we talked about. So little suspension travel in these cars, so little give. No real close battles in the top 10. Well, Chris Perry has caught up to the back bumper of Avery Walker. About 1 second between them for 6th place. Jason Wahlberg back in 8th, another 4 seconds back. Mike Dolling in 9th. Gregorio Caridi in 10th, but Nick Sorensen all over the back bumper of Caridi right now, wanting to break into the top 10 here. Dylan Steinbach has been to pit road for his stop. Maximilian Gunther has been to pit road for his stop. Matthew Allen is on pit road right now. Scott Nalawi and Chris Perry give up top 5 position. Well, Scott gives up a top 5. Chris was up to 7th. Both of them on pit road now. Starting to see more of the top 10 hitting pit road. And Giancarlo, the birthday boy, still dominating here. Yuho in second is starting to actually lose a little bit of ground, now almost 3 seconds behind. Harry in third, newcomer Neil Obrador in fourth. And the leaders are starting to get into some lap traffic here. Doesn't look like Giancarlo is going to approach anytime soon. He'll have some in front of him on the straightaway, but they're about halfway down the straightaway right now. So he's got a couple laps before he will encounter them. Pit stops could come into play to keep Giancarlo out of lap traffic. Giancarlo is coming to pit road. I honestly expected him to go a little bit longer. Yuho is on pit road. Harry is going to come to pit road. Neil Obrador coming to pit road. Could we see all the leaders this time? Does anybody try and stretch it? Avery coming to pit road. Jason Wahlberg coming. Mike Dolling staying out. Gregorio Caridi stays out. Nick Sorensen is in. Rudolph Gunther is in. Clayton Allen stays out. And look at that. Giancarlo already rolling off of pit road. Currently scored in 4th place. But the 3 cars in front of him still have to come to pit road. Yuho in second did not gain anything, but did not really lose anything. Still about a 3-second gap between them. 3 1/4 at the moment. Now Mike Dolling has the lead and quite a big one, 5 seconds over Gregorio. How far can he stretch the fuel? Could he play a little strategy here and possibly make something happen? Mike was one of the guys that did drive in the 10-hour endurance race yesterday. A lot of these guys, this schedule is based off of one of the iRacing schedules, so they have all week to really go out and practice, get in some races, test different things, adjust their setups, and adjust pit and fuel strategy. Could we see somebody go a lot further, need a lot less fuel? Will Mike come to pit road this time, or can he stretch it even further? Nope, Mike Dolling is going to come to pit road. Should see Gregorio and Clayton as well. There is Gregorio coming to pit road. And Clayton Allen turns down. Giancarlo will reassume the lead here with 23 minutes to go. Yuho in second has started to chop away at the lead. It is now down to 2.5 seconds. Harry back in third, and Neil Obrador in fourth is now within 1.5 seconds. Scott Nalawi in fifth now has Avery Walker right there within striking distance. Mike Dolling rolling off pit road. And here comes Adam Barker, who is now being scored in 7th place. And 4 seconds back. Could he make up some more ground here? Doling comes back out. He is currently in 8th. Chris Perry in 9th and Jason Wahlberg in 10th. And it looks like we might start to see a battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th here. And if they close in on Avery Walker, that could come into play as well. Looks like they got a lap car just in front of them. Matthew Allen, as Adam Barker closes up on the lap car of Matthew Allen. Allen goes way wide. I'm betting he saw the battle behind him, decided not to interfere. Just went a little bit wider than intended. Adam Barker trying to open up a gap on Mike Doling. Half a second right now. All 4 of these cars on the lead lap, battling for position and all in each other's slipstream. So they're going to have to separate themselves on the track in the turns, and that could get a little bit sketchy as some of these guys try and make moves as we get down to the final moments of the race. Giancarlo, nothing to worry about right now. He has pulled another 1/4 of a second on Yuho. And they are 10 seconds in front of Harry. Harry still 1.3 seconds in front of Neil Obrador. Scott Nalawi in 5th. And would you look at this? There are 3 Lamborghinis in the top 5 and 5 in the top 11. Back here in this battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, 7th through 10th here, and Adam Barker has started to separate himself from the cars behind. He has 1.3 seconds on Mike Doling now. Doling goes a little wide. Manages to pull it together before the second turn there and keeps everything going the right way. But looks like he's going to lose a little bit more ground. Looked like the momentum actually of going wide gave him a little bit of an advantage. He didn't lose any time. He actually gained a little bit on that. Chris Perry and Jason Wahlberg still right there. 19 minutes, just over 19 minutes to go. These guys have quite a battle going on. But Adam Barker still trying to break the bad luck here. Adam came into today in 10th, tied with Mike Marshall for 9th place. 1 point behind Gregorio Caridi, 2 points behind Simon Zierk. Mike Marshall currently running in 20th, so Adam will break the tie there. Gregorio back in 11th. That's going to give Adam a couple of spots, and Simon Zierk in 14th. Adam having a really good points day today if he can keep that car where it is at. It's going to be very difficult for anybody. Mike Marshall has gone off the track and gone to pit road. Little too much of the rumble strips, goes too wide through there. Backs it into the tire wall, managing to save the car, not go out on the track, but a rough day for Mike Marshall. Adam Barker, the first 5 or 6 races of the season, extremely rough, but the last couple, yeah, he started to make a comeback. As I was saying, nobody will, unless Giancarlo and Yuho just have a series of bad races, nobody can catch the two of them at this point, this late in the season. However, every position behind them still up for grabs. Scott Nalawi currently 3rd in points, and his position might be secured as well. He is currently running 5th. Avery Walker right on the back bumper in 6th. As we get the Nick Sorensen's coming off of pit road, looks like just about everybody has completed their pit stops. Mike Marshall, the only driver left on pit road after that incident on the last lap. And this battle between Scott Nalawi and Avery Walker really starting to heat up a bit here. Looks like every so often we've got a car off track. It was Harry, and everybody's going to pick up a spot here. Let's see how he ended up backed into the wall there. Comes down, grabs the rumble strip, and just overcommits as he starts to build up momentum through that section of track. Backs on the brakes, managing minimal damage, a little bit of damage to the left rear of the spoiler, but losing a lot of track position. Harry's now drifted back into 6th place, and that battle behind him, that 4-car battle, is closing on him. Scott Nalawi got by, moved up to 4th. Avery Walker gets by, moves up to 5th. And Giancarlo's lead, it looks like, and we've heard him say this in weeks past, he gets to a certain point, it gets X amount of time ahead, and then kind of takes it a little bit easier. Lap times are starting to fall with the tire wear, but right now Giancarlo's lead hovering at 2.5 seconds over Yuho. Avery and Scott and Avery both continue their battle. James Crook just had an incident. And just a little bit too wide through that section. Manages to save it before he gets into the wall. And Avery goes a little bit wide through that section. We've seen that happen countless times today. Now, Harry, back in 6th place, has just over 1 second on Adam Barker. Adam has just over, or just under 1.5 seconds on Mike Dolling. And Dolling is actually starting to pull away from Jason Walbert and Gregorio Caridi, as that gap, that battle for 7th through 10th place is starting to sort itself out as gaps are starting to form between those 4 drivers. But Adam Barker continues marching his way forward. Meanwhile, Giancarlo just continues to turn laps consistently. Looks like he's actually going to come up and lap Eric McCready, who is currently in 17th. He is the last car on the lead lap. Clayton Allen, we talked about him briefly earlier. He's been the biggest mover so far tonight. Started in 25th, up to 12th, 3.5 seconds behind Chris Perry in 11th. Gregorio Caridi about 10.5 seconds ahead of him, so Clayton could realistically get up into 11th, but catching 10th place looks unlikely. We now have 5 Lamborghinis in the top 10. First, third, fourth, ninth, and ninth and 10th. And the 3 Audis on track are 5th, 6th, and 12th. The top running BMWs are 7th, 8th, and 14th, and 15th. And only one Porsche in the top 10, that is Yuho. As the leaders get past McCready. And Maximilian Gunther had another incident. Maximilian not having a good day today. We've seen some astounding runs out of him recently. Nice, almost saves the car. Does save the car in the drift, and gets it going again. It looks like Thomas Smith had an incident as well and is towed to pit road. The lone Mercedes in the field. And he gets a drift on, but gets too far out into the dirt, hard into the tire wall. And you can see that car was heavily damaged. A lot of drivers coming into today were thinking attrition might be a concern, and it might be how they pick up some positions, but realistically, the attrition's been pretty minimal. Still have 20 cars of the 25 on track. Thomas Smith and Mike Marshall are currently on pit road. Martin Johnson, Brian LaRue both out, and Ronnie did not grid. Yuho slowly chipping away at the lead. And you know what we haven't done? Let's kind of keep an eye on Giancarlo's times and speed. Down the front straightaway he goes. Looks like we got a car coming up off of pit road. That is Matthew Allen. Should not be a factor right away. 157 miles an hour as he rolls out for turn one, up through the S's. Hovering right above 90 miles an hour as he comes up through the S's. Has to get out of it a little bit. Drops down into the upper 80s. Matthew Allen moving over to let the leader by. 130, almost 140 miles an hour through that section. Slowing down for the next couple of turns, making sure he doesn't overshoot like we've seen so many do today. 123, 124, then into the hard left-hand horseshoe. Back up to speed, and you know, this is one area where Giancarlo really excels, is navigating and not losing a ton of speed through this lap traffic. And utilizing it 144 miles an hour before he gets back on the brakes. Now coming through possibly the highest speed section of track as he gets back onto the straightaway. Already up to 130, a little uphill here. .154 is the top speed, and now onto the brakes hard for the chicane. And back up to speed down the front straightaway. As we see Maximilian Gunther come back up off pit road, and it looks like after Matthew Allen moved over, he might have had an incident. As you, oh, he gets together with you. Is that was Yuho? Let's watch and see what happened to Yuho. Obviously, Matthew Allen bounces off the fence. Yuho hard on the brakes. Complete 360, gets going again. He managed to hold on to second place because he had such a large lead. But now he is 12.2 seconds back, and he's actually... Newcomer Neil Obrador is up to third now and 4.5 seconds back. Probably not going to have enough time. He'd have to make up over 1 second a lap on Yuho. But Neil definitely extremely fast here today. Could be somebody to watch later into this season and into the next season. And what a heartbreak for Yuho. We were just talking about how well Giancarlo gets through the lap traffic, and then Yuho gets together with Matthew Allen. Looked like Yuho just didn't realize how fast the closing rate was and couldn't get moved in time. Matthew Allen managed to keep going as well, but let's see if we can get a look at his car. I'm willing to bet he has got some significant damage on the front end. Not as much as you'd think for as hard as he hit. Kevin Martin dropping into the chat, cheering on McCready. Matthew Allen pulling over, making sure doesn't get in the way have any further issues. Giancarlo, less than 5 minutes to go. Estimate another 2 laps. Looking at the lap times, Yuho's fastest lap only a 1/10 of a second off of Giancarlo's fastest lap. And last time by, Yuho was actually a 1/10 of a second faster than Giancarlo. The fastest lap last time by, though, was by 4th place Avery Walker as he goes wide through that section. Holy cow. Avery has been sending it today. Scott Malawi, currently running in 5th, is continuing to have a great season. Comes in today 3rd in points. Consistent top 5 finishes and consistent speed all season long. Giancarlo comes into today with 4 wins this season. Yuho has 3 wins. Just a couple of weeks ago when Yuho got his 3rd win, they were actually tied Yuho for wins, and Yuho took the points lead for a week, but Giancarlo making a comeback here today. Chris Perry has had an incident and looks like he is towed to pit road. Chris was having a good run earlier in the race, and I don't know what happened. He pulled off track intentionally there. McCready just had an incident going off track as well. The Porsche's really biting today. We saw them bite a lot last week at Homestead, but they are really biting again here today, and the track is not as hot. It's just the fact that the Porsche not as good in the fast turns. Track temperature only 84 degrees today versus 130 plus last week at Homestead. These cars have a lot more grip. Giancarlo coming through the... Oh, Neil Obrador just had an incident. From third place. Coming down into the horseshoe. And, loses the back end, manages to save it. Great save, does not lose a ton of time. All right, coming down the front straightaway, let's hop in the car. Should see the white flag flying for Giancarlo. Could not see it, but I am guessing that he did just pick up the white flag. Giancarlo continuing his season dominance. 4 wins, led 137 laps coming into today. And now will come down and win his 5th race of the season. Collect a lot more laps led here. Yuho currently holding on to second. Newcomer Neil Obrador having a great run today, up to 3rd place. After starting in 10th, Avery Walker in 4th, Scott Nalawi in 5th. Adam Barker has managed to make his way up to 6th place. And Mike Doling, who started in 17th, now up to 7th. Jason Wahlberg in 8th. Harry is in 9th. Gregorio Caridi in 10th. But the biggest mover of the day has been Clayton Allen, who started dead last on the field in 25th. And makes his way up to 11th place. And here comes Giancarlo. He is going to take the checkered flag here at Suzuka. Win number 5 for this season, and a win on his birthday. You know he's got to be happy about that. Yuho coming out through the final turn. He is going to come home in 2nd. Newcomer Neil Obrador will finish 3rd. Avery Walker is 4th. Scott Malawi is 5th. Adam Barker sending it through the last couple of turns, gets right on McCready's bumper. Mike Doling going to come home 7th. Jason Wahlberg currently 8th. 9th will be Harry, and 10th place will be Gregorio Caridi. And let's see if we can get a word with our birthday boy. Hey, Giancarlo, it's Doug. You got me?
Hey, Doug.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
That's got to be a happy feeling to pull off your 5th win of the season on your birthday.
Absolutely. Definitely a very intense race with Yuho just right behind for so long. I mean, really the whole race up until, I guess, he got tangled up with a lap car, which is really unfortunate. I was really pushing the entire time. It was a very intense, very enjoyable race overall.
Well, it looked like you just kept those consistent laps going. Didn't look like you. We saw a lot of drivers struggle in certain sections of the track just to not overshoot, but looked like you just had it planted the whole day.
Yeah, I think it maybe the broadcast gave a false sense of security with that. Definitely going around Spoon that last corner before the back straight is always a handful. Very much always got to be on your toes there. But overall, pretty satisfied. Very fun track to drive for
It,
sure.
it definitely is. I couldn't agree more. Well, congratulations, man. Go celebrate your win and your birthday.
Thank you, Doug. Have a good one.
You too, buddy. All right, let's see if we can get Yuho. Hey, Yuho, this is Doug. You got me?
Hey, Doug. I got you.
Hey, buddy. First off, you had a heck of a race going, and obviously one of the fastest cars on track. You were on Giancarlo pretty much the entire race.
Yeah, but actually, except the two kind of first laps, I had a little bit chance of trying overtaking, and rest of the time I was just hanging in the draft, trying to survive. So once I lost the draft, he was pulling away little by little. So really, really good job from Giancarlo. Couldn't be faster than that with the Porsche today.
Well, it did look like a lot of the Porsches really struggled today on some of these turns, and I heard it in pre-race. A lot of guys saying not a great track for the Porsches, but you actually, other than the one incident with a lap car, you made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, well, I did have quite a lot of practice on this one because it's I like the track. It's really nice track to drive, but it's demanding. So actually, again, I guess you just didn't catch that on the TV, but I had some pretty awesome moments there. So I was really on the edge the whole race. But actually, looking at the wiggling of Giancarlo, so was he. So at least I got him nervous.
You definitely did. He said he was watching you. He was pushing the whole time. He wasn't doing his laying back, taking it easy today at all.
Yeah. Well, they made two of us.
Well, man, another great run, great second place finish. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks. Cheers.
All right, let's see if our third place finisher. Hey, Neil, this is Doug in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Hey, yep.
Hey, man. What a run you had. Started in 10th and made it all the way up to 3rd. A few close calls in there, but man, you were quite fast today.
Yeah, I found out I was kind of just hot lapping. Anytime I got up to somebody close, they just gave way.
Well, that does help make it easier, but man, the hot lapping was definitely working. Your lap times were not that far off the 2 leaders, and just as consistent.
Yeah, no, thank you. I actually was I've been away from the league for a few months now, actually, because I went and moved places, so I didn't have my rig for quite some time. Last time I was racing here, there wasn't even any broadcasting yet, so I think this was the first race I was in with broadcasting, so pretty cool.
Well, man, congratulations. That was a heck of a run. Look forward to seeing what you do the rest of this season, and look forward to next season.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, Suzuka definitely put on one heck of a show. The NSS GT3 guys, amazing job today. Another great win for Giancarlo. Second place for Yuho, and the points battle will continue. I think Giancarlo will gain a few points here, but not a dramatic amount. So Yuho's still in the battle with 4 more races to go this season. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to come back tonight at 6:30 Eastern for the BRR Cup Series. It comes to you tonight from the track Too Tough to Tame, Darlington, and then the Fast and Fun ARCA Series after that. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.